The views and comments expressed on the following radio program by its hosts and their guests do not necessarily reflect the views of rmconair.com or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.
Yeah. New Tigolo, new Tigolo, new Tigolo, new Tigolo. 4:30. 7:30. 2:15. Hey yo, don't need a new style. Being dope is always in fashion. Beast to the West Coast, montage fashion. Everything's in-house, don't need a mansion. Doper than the last one. 4:30. And like me, Al mix, I spit that foul, yeah, and one. Everybody swing and holler at me if you land one. Don't need perfection, just pass on, and don't need to be signed. I ain't got a cast on, lot of opportunity, easy bread I passed on. It just felt troubling. Now class is in session and we got them testers bubbling like Scantron, fresh out the kitchen. Signed with a stamp on. I'm on some greatness, y'all on some lateness with no foundation, so it could never last long. I displayed patience. I done played Jason. It's Saturday the 14th. You got a mask on. Come on, pushing me to the brink. A stagger in my footsteps, and I don't even drink. It's so much on my mind, dog.
Yo. We're back at it again. LockerRoomLiveTV.com. I am your host, John Reed, Jay-R, and we got an exciting show on deck for you tonight. It's going to be me that you see here in the studio. Smitty Clutch is going to be joining us shortly, but he's out in Puerto Rico, partying it up, having a good time. He left me here by myself to run the show. We'll clown him a little bit later, but we got a great show. We got a great guest. Smitty Clutch, are you there? Okay,
I'm here, man. How are you?
Okay, so Smitty Clutch, live and direct from Puerto Rico. Hey man, you look like you lost your shirt, your wallet,
and I'm tanning.
Apparently. How is Puerto Rico?
It's wonderful, man. I feel so guilty leaving you there all alone while I'm in this paradise, but you know, work is fun, so I thought I'll check in with you guys.
Okay, so are you covering the Puerto Rican soccer team, or I mean, what are you working?
I am the female soccer team.
Oh, I'm not surprised that you're focused on the female soccer team.
No, man, to be quite honest, actually, I've been helping out. Football is getting big out here, so I've actually been coaching with some 18 and 16-year-olds out here. So
American
the major
football.
sport is basketball. To be surprised if you'd be surprised.
Oh, well, we know basketball. They're coming up, you know. So
yeah, definitely.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, like I was telling everybody, we got a special show ahead today. Let's jump right into it. All right. So today we're going to talk about playoffs. We're going to talk some current news. We got a special guest coming up later on and where they do that at. And let's start with the playoffs. So, Mike, look, you're messing us up, man. You need to turn your computer down.
I did that already. I'm just trying to make sure you're on point.
You know I'm going to be on point. All right. Hey, so did you watch that game, the Heat-Spurs game out in Puerto Rico? Game 4.
I did. I caught every single game at a nice bar near the water.
with the Puerto Rican women's soccer team.
No, they weren't present.
Very cool. All right, so we're gonna run some highlights here of the game, but actually let's just go ahead and run those right now. Okay. Yeah, we'll run those. So what did you think about? What was your impressions of Game 1? I'm sorry, Game 4. Obviously, a much different LeBron James. Obviously, a lot different Dwayne Wade.
Definitely. I think that was the key. LeBron came out aggressive. Dwayne Wade came out aggressive. I thought in Game 3, LeBron was wasting dribbles. He was hesitant. Obviously, that was not the case in Game 4. And Dwayne Wade, he looked like Flash of 2006.
And they needed that. They definitely needed that. The question I think that always comes up when you have a game like this after a miserable couple of games in the finals is which Miami, we got 3 games now. This is a 3-game series, as D Wade said after Game 4. Which Heat team are we going to get for the rest of the way?
I think that's the question.
Yeah, that's the one we're asking you.
Right. It's hard to say. I mean, I'm inspired by what Dwayne Wade did. It had been so long since I've seen him perform at an elite level like that. I almost forgot what it looked like. But LeBron, I think, will definitely come out in game 5 aggressive. And I think the role players will play better. They didn't really play well in game 4, but they didn't need to. Actually, let's not forget Chris Bosh. He was aggressive. He made his presence known. He had 2 big block shots. He rebounded better than we've ever seen him rebound. So I think with the big 3 playing like that, them putting Mike Miller into the starting lineup, some more support from their roster on the bench, I think we may see a better game 5 performance from the Heat.
Okay, and they're going back home, right? We're going to roll these highlights here.
How it went down in San Antonio. Magic Johnson, LeBron.
Look,
advice.
you can be Magic and Michael. Just blend them together tonight, LeBron.
All right, so let's see how we did with the.
So one thing I initially noticed offhand was that the Heat started really fast. LeBron, obviously, he had his agenda made up from the jump that he was going to attack the basket. I was actually surprised at the Spurs defense by allowing him to get to the paint with a full head of steam as much as they did. I mean, they know that's his game. That's why they were sagging off of him in game 3 and game 2 and kind of making him shoot the jump shot. But what happened to that game plan of Popovich to keep LeBron out of the paint?
I think LeBron James dictated what he wanted from the defense. He came out aggressive early, and he didn't allow them to go under the screen. He shot his jump shot early. He made a few, and he made the defense respect him. He dictated what he would do on offense, and not vice versa. And the same thing with Dwayne Wade.
Yeah, and it resulted in 33 points. Okay, so where did this Dwayne Wade come from? Because like you said, we haven't seen this guy since maybe 2008. Not this kind of Dwayne Wade.
I hope it was that he took it as an insult that Greg Popovich started off the game with the 7-foot Spaniard splittered on him. I mean, that's downright insulting. That's disrespectful to put a center on a superstar shooting guard. So I'm hoping that's what Dwayne Wade had in mind. It's like, hey, okay, look, I'm still Dwayne Wade. Let me show you that you can't just do anything out here on this basketball court.
Right. What about Tony Parker? Should we be concerned if we're Spurs fans? They, Pop sat him down with significant amount of time. I mean, they were getting kind of blown out, but he sat him down to rest him. Obviously, the hamstring is a bit of a concern. If you're a San Antonio Spurs fan, how concerned are you that you're not going to have Tony Parker at full strength?
I mean, maybe it got tight because he came out in the second half. What did he have, 2 points, 4 points? He didn't have a lot. I know he really got shut down in the second half, so maybe the hamstring got tight on him, got cold. He came out right out the gate, aggressive, dominating the game, but obviously he didn't keep that up in the second half. So if I'm a San Antonio Spurs fan, I'm worried about that. But they said it was a strain. Maybe I think they have 2 days to rest him. The game is on Sunday, so hopefully we get to see the Tony Parker we all come to know and enjoy.
Yeah, okay. So around the league, there have been whispers that Eric Spoelstra actually outcoached Greg Popovich in this game. Now, for all the people out there in TV land that have been following us, they know that we've kind of gone in on Eric Spoelstra a little bit for his lack of coaching, running a the isolation play all the time, and not necessarily being an X's and O's guys. But what do you think about Spoelstra's coaching, even to the point of, he sat Birdman, Anderson didn't even play the entire game. So obviously he's making some decisions out there. Is it all on LeBron James and Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh? Or is Spoelstra, living up to his responsibilities here?
I think he's definitely benched the players that should perform better, such as the Birdman, such as Mario Chalmers. We saw him not get a lot of playing time as well. And he's playing the people who should play, obviously Mike Miller, who's coming out, rebounding, playing defense, and shooting the lights out. I noticed that he's playing Ray Allen in the fourth quarter of games, which seems to open things up for the Heat. He's a clutch shooter, so he's always ready to gun. So I think Spoelstra is doing okay. I wouldn't go as far as to say he's out coaching Popovich, but he's definitely holding up his end of the bargain, definitely.
All right, let's switch gears a little bit. We got Green and Neal, who went crazy in Game 3. Yeah. But what about Game 4? Were you expecting to see that kind of play sustained over the course of this series, or was that just an anomaly? Because those guys were shooting the lights out.
They're shooting the lights out, and I was screaming at the television. I mean, I'm not a Heat fan, but when you see something that's so obvious, I mean, just get out on the shooters, close it out on the shooters, because obviously Gary Neal and Danny Green, they're not accustomed to creating and putting the ball on the floor. So, I think if they get out on the shooters and don't let them have wide open shots, because obviously they're not missing, they're hot.
Yeah.
They can control the game like they did in Game 4. I think that was the difference. They got out on the shooters, even though they still hit shots, crazy shots.
All right, so what's your prediction for Game 5? We're going back to Miami.
Guys, you put me on the spot in Puerto Rico, man.
Absolutely.
I'm on vacation.
Absolutely.
I would have to say I'm going to go with the Heat in a close one.
In a close one. Okay.
How about you? Yeah, how about you, Jr.?
Well, this is interesting because I thought the Heat were in trouble. As I was quoted from last week, I thought this was going to be the beginning of the end for Miami. Just looking at how they were playing, actually referring back to your article that you wrote this week on LockerRoomLiveTV.com. Seemed like there's a little turmoil.
Shout out.
Yeah, that's a shout out to you. Great article, by the way. But it seemed like there was some turmoil, or there is some turmoil in the Heat locker room. You got LeBron talking about going back to his Cleveland days. You got D-Wade talking about, hey, I need to get touches where I need to get touches on the floor. They need to get me the ball. Chris Bosh is apologizing for his play. I mean, it just seems like this thing is just upside down. And so I'm thinking in the finals with so much pressure, they would not be able to get it together with enough time. But it seems to be not the case.
Yeah, I just think they've been through so much. They're battle tested. So I think that was the difference. Obviously, in Game 4, their backs were against the wall, and they came out and performed. So I think they'll do it again in Game 5. I really do, especially if Dwayne Wade has found some confidence. That's the key.
Well, you would think somebody this late in his career would have confidence. That shouldn't be a problem. You would think.
Hey, make sure to tell Dwayne Wade that when you see him.
He needs to go get that new Kanye West album and get some confidence. All right. Let's go to some news.
He sort of dresses like Kanye.
They do kind of dress alike. Maybe they hang out.
Right,
they got the same
swag.
Same stylist. They need to talk to our guest from today. Today's guest.
Exactly.
All right, we'll get to that later. We got some big news around the league though. More NBA news. We got a big hiring out in New Jersey. Jason Kidd hired. What is this? Less than a month then he retired from playing NBA basketball, and now he's a head coach. What do you think about that?
Yeah, he was just an old man on the basketball floor a few months ago or a few weeks ago. Scoring no points, but we're not going to go bad on Jason Kidd. I couldn't believe it, but I think it's a great move by the Nets. They need help, and I think he's going to be a great coach. I really do, and he can thank Mark Jackson definitely.
As being an example of a young coach turning things around. Here's something that's interesting, though. You got guys like Brian Shaw, who have been the understudy of some great coaches for a long time. How come he's still sitting on at the back seat while Jason Kidd, as soon as he gets done playing, knows nothing about coaching from the coaching perspective, yet he's the guy that gets the job?
Yeah, I guess that's what they say, the cold part of the game in coaching in the NBA. Brian Shaw, I think, is deserving of a coaching spot. It's just it's not happening. So I don't know. I think Jason Kidd was a great hire. I just don't know if it's going to cause Brian Shaw to not get hired, and that would be a shame. But I do think the Nets made the right decision in hiring Jason Kidd. But, I think Brian Shaw will get a chance pretty soon. Brian
Shaw supposedly has an interview with the Denver Nuggets here coming up soon. So, I don't know. Maybe they're giving these young guys a shot. Patrick Ewing Jr. tweeted, I don't know if you saw this tweet earlier this week, but he said via Twitter, I'm paraphrasing, but I'm kind of mad that Jason Kidd gets a look before my dad does. And yes, it's my dad, but that just doesn't seem fair to me. So, there's some grumbling around the league, and maybe I don't know. I don't know. But that's interesting. All right. Let's switch to baseball a little bit. Let's talk Dodgers. And we had a very interesting night. Was it last night? Where we had a brawl. And brawls are not something that is uncommon in baseball, kind of like hockey. It's kind of an accepted practice for some strange reason. But it got a little out of hand yesterday, and we're going to show you a clip from the Dodgers Diamondbacks game. And you got Ian Kennedy, who goes up top, throws a high fastball, and hits Yasiel Puig in the face. Right now, I was surprised that he got up and actually continued to play the game. You take a baseball in the nose. I mean, there's some guys that get hit in the leg and they're out for 3-4 weeks.
Kennedy this year.
But Puig gets hit right there on the nose, stays in the game.
7 batters.
But it wasn't over. It wasn't over there.
Well, the crowd sees him put the helmet on.
As you see, he runs down, finishes out the play. I mean, he goes and runs the bases. Then we have our good friend Zach Greinke.
And did that hit him?
Who goes?
It went behind him,
right at the batter, and almost throws it behind the guy.
Wow.
And then the guys come out and they kind of do their little bravado thing. They stick their chest out. They probably have some choice words for each other. The bench is clear. You even got the guys come all the way out from the outfield in the bullpen and exchange words.
Kirk Gibson, who is really
so it's a little tit for tat. Hey, I throw at you, throw it to your guy, you throw at my guy.
Chicken.
But it doesn't end there either. Usually it's, hey, you hit my guy, hit your guy, and we're done. And the interesting thing here is we had Greinke in our Where They Do That At segment earlier because he was the guy that got into the fight and broke his collarbone. Right?
Greinke's had a rough year, huh?
So then Ian Kennedy, the next inning, Ian Kennedy comes up and throws up and into another guy, and then everything just hits the fan. The pitcher gets tossed, Kennedy gets tossed, and he throws right at Greinke. Greinke was the one batting, so I understand why he threw it at him. But this is when it got completely out of hand. Puig, I guess he hadn't gotten over his beef, and he was probably one of the most animated guys out there. But the interesting thing here is you don't just have coaches out here fighting. You don't have players just out here fighting. You got coaches out here fighting. And they're the ones that got the biggest suspensions. Don Mattingly, Mark McGwire, and those guys are going to miss a couple games. Puig actually will not get suspended. He got fined, but he actually played today. Dodgers, Diamondbacks. I almost want to put this in the Where They Do That At file because it's, you can kill somebody by hitting them in the face with a baseball. So that was interesting there. Let's talk about this real quickly, Smitty Clutch. Now, what do you think about the double standards as far as behavior is concerned in professional sports? Like we said before, in hockey, you get a pass. You can fight until you hit the ice. Once you fall down, then that's when they stop the fight. In baseball, you can get out and fight a little bit, and you get a 1-game suspension or something like that. What do you think about that?
Well, first, let me start off with just saying I had my eyes on Mark McGwire the whole time. I want to see what the HGH does. I want to see Hulk Hogan out there get a hold of somebody one-on-one. The steroids really work. I was watching Mark the whole time.
Yeah.
I think there's definitely a double standard. You watch hockey, and that's just part of the culture. You fight, and I think that's part of that game. Obviously, they love it. Hockey lovers love it. They see so to put it in the rules that they love it, so much. With baseball, you have this culture of, if you come at one of my teammates, my pitcher's going to throw at your head. Those are just part of the game. You can't really do that in football. It's already physical enough. And basketball, obviously, no one wants to fight in basketball anyway. Those guys aren't, the tough guys. Every now and then we'll see, a few blows being thrown. But obviously basketball, I think it came down to they were taking some bad publicity some years back, and you see the dress code change with Iverson, and you see the tattoos, and I just think it scares some people, middle America, and they don't want to see those guys fighting too. So every sport is different. It doesn't bother me the double standard.
Wow, thank you, Cornell West. That was very profound.
I'm just saying. I mean, I think that's what it is. Hoopers can't fight anyway. So what are we talking about?
Right, right. Very cool. All right, we got a little bit more baseball. All right, so it's before the All-Star break, and as we told you guys a few weeks ago, we do like baseball. We appreciate it, but there's not a whole lot to talk about before the All-Star break. But we do have one story here outside of the Diamondbacks Dodgers brawl, and that is the team that is tied, I believe, for first place in the AL East. It's not the Yankees. It's not the Rangers. It is, drum roll please, I think you know where I'm going with this, Smitty Clutch.
Of course, yeah, and so does all our audience.
The Oakland A's. And it's interesting, I was listening to Kurt Schilling and John Kruk talk about this last night, but they said, it's funny how we always are surprised by the A's, and what they do every year, but they do it every year. The scary thing about the A's is that they're doing it before the All-Star break this year. They're 3 games ahead of the Texas Rangers, and they're they're cranking, and they've got lights out pitching. They just swept the Yankees, which I don't know if that's happened. I don't know if that's ever happened. They beat them in 18 innings 2 days ago. They swept them. They beat Mariano Rivera on his last trip to Oakland. I know that felt good. But I think the world is starting, just like they are with the Golden State Warriors, they're starting to see that, hey, we got some good ball being played out in the Bay Area.
Who is the pitching scout for the Oakland A's?
That guy.
His name.
That guy needs to.
Every year we got some young guy that just pitches lights out. And I never know his name.
Well, the interesting thing is we got a ton of guys that are pitching lights out and just playing lights out. And John Kruk said this yesterday. He said, you got a bunch of guys where you pull one guy out of that lineup and it doesn't kill the team. You got a bunch of young, hungry guys that just get out there and they just play ball. You don't need to know their name. They're going to get theirs. They're going to be happy with it. They're going to have a good time in the clubhouse. They're going to crack jokes, and they're going to enjoy their time in Major League Baseball. And that's what makes them more dangerous, because they are a complete hungry team. Mm-hmm. So, anyway, shout out to Oakland. We hope they continue to do well, because we love the Bay Area. All right, moving on. Obviously. Tebow news. Tebow's back in the news again. He's a Patriot.
Praise God.
Do you care?
Yes and no. No, because I don't think he'll make the team. Yes, because it's like a mystery. Why did Belichick do this? And my guess on it is that he was stealing information. You know how Belichick does with the Spygate and all those things, and he's like the CIA of football, of the NFL. So I think he's trying to get some plays out of Tebow and try to get some information. That's an interdivision rivalry they have going on with the Jets and the Patriots. So
wait, you're saying that they brought Tim Tebow in to get intel on the Jets? Is that what you're telling me?
That's all I got for you, buddy. I couldn't come up with anything else. He can't throw. He's not going to be the second string quarterback. They love Ryan Mallett, the strong arm kid out of Arkansas. He can't run the spread offense. He's not accurate like Tom Brady. I thought it was funny that Rex Ryan said he's going for Tebow to win that quarterback job over Tim Brady.
Wow, Tom.
So Rex is always funny.
Tim is his brother, Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you tell me why he got Tebow? Is he?
Well, they did get him at a steal.
Inspiration?
They did get him at a steal. Tebow's going to earn $500,000 if he plays 60% of the plays in 2014.
Right.
That's
and it's
not
nothing guaranteed.
Nothing guaranteed. 70% of the plays. If you play 70% of the time, he makes $1.5 million. 80%. He makes $1.5 million if he plays over 80% of the snaps, which is not going to happen. So it's not a very big investment. They're not losing. They have nothing to lose, really. And at the end of the day, he can.
Do you think he makes the team?
I don't think he makes the team, but if he does, maybe he could be a great backup long snapper.
Oh, that's hard.
Like you said, he can't throw. He's not fast. They don't really need publicity up there. They got Tom Brady, the Mr. Supermodel guy or whatever is, Mr.
Maybe they want 2 supermodels.
Right, right. All right. Next, let's go talk about a little bit of boxing here. We have Adonis Stevenson and Chad Dawson.
This was bad.
But what was the worst about it? And we're gonna run the clip here in just a second. Was
what I call a one-hitter quitter.
But it was the pre-fight posturing that we're gonna play, as well as the actual knockout. So, are you ready to run that one? All right, here we go.
That he's just a stepping stone for me, just a fight created just to make me look good. I don't believe that I'm the best light heavyweight in the world, which I am. Adonis Stevenson is no Glenn Johnson. He's no Antonio Tarver. He's no Bernard Hopkins. He's no Thomas Adamek. I've beaten great fighters, and I just don't see it. I've watched one fight of his, one fight. I'm a big 175-pounder, big. My physique is outstanding and it's crazy, but trust me, he'll look very tiny the night of the fight. Very tiny.
Okay, so as you can hear, that's the pre-fight posturing, right? He's no Antonio Tarver. He's not a good fighter. First of all, I don't have too much intel on this guy. Who is this guy? Have you been following this Chad Dawson cat?
Just a stepping stone for me, just a fight created.
A tad bit, but man, Antonio Tarver, that was like 2003, wasn't it? Like,
Right, Roy Jones Jr.
did he throw that name out?
Right, Joe Frazier.
Oh, yeah, I beat Roy Jones Jr. yesterday.
All right, here we got the video here. All right, here we go.
Just a fight created just to make me look good. I don't believe that I'm the best light heavyweight in the world, which I am. Adonis Stevenson is no Glenn Johnson. He's no Antonio Tarver. He's no Bernard Hopkins. He's no Thomas Adamek. I've beaten great fighters, and I just don't see it. I've watched one fight of his. One fight. I'm a big 175 pounder. Big. My physique is outstanding and it's crazy, but trust me, he'll look very tiny the night of the fight. Very tiny.
Wow. Okay, so he's a big 175 pounder. His physique is amazing apparently, and he only watched him fight maybe once. Maybe he should have watched him fight a little bit more.
Maybe he should box more instead of lifting weights and realize he's not bodybuilding.
Yeah, that was a bit embarrassing. He's gonna have to go back to the gym.
But hey, his physique was beautiful when he was hitting that canvas.
Right, and I'm sure he saw plenty of Adonis Stevenson's glove when he he caught that one right there on the chin. All right, a couple more things before we go and take a break. We got the coaching carousel. We got George Karl on the move. We got Hollins on the move. We got Vinny Del Negro on the move. Where'd all these guys end up? What are you
that's
hearing?
a tough one. I have no idea. I think George Karl is going to end up in L.A., though. I said that's a match made in heaven.
Clippers?
He'll have that team up and running.
Clippers?
Yeah, I think Karl goes to the Clippers. That's the only thing I think will happen.
Okay. Speaking of the Clippers, I'm throwing this in here. You also got talk today about, I think this is a Chris Broussard exclusive, where he said, Dwight Howard and Chris Paul have been talking, and they're going to try to join forces and take their talent somewhere. Where does that somewhere take place? Some people say Atlanta. Some people say that, the Clippers are going to make a push to make that happen and get rid of possibly Blake Griffin.
Yeah. Like I wrote in my article a while back, I think it has to be Atlanta Hawks or Houston Rockets. That's the only two teams with salary cap to deal with both of those superstars. Those are max contract guys. So the only way, if Chris Paul stays in L.A., the only way he can get Dwight Howard to come to L.A. is they have to get rid of Blake Griffin or DeAndre Jordan or both. So
yeah,
we'll see.
That's gonna be an interesting one, definitely. And lastly, Kobe and his family finally hashed out their differences in regards to this memorabilia lawsuit that they've been bouncing around. Yeah. And I don't have the details on that, but it's good to see this one kind of ending because it was getting ugly.
I was hoping it made it all the way to one of those court shows, like Judge Judy or something. That would be classic if you just saw Kobe walk in, right?
That would be classic. I'm sure that would be the most watched Judge Joe Brown episode ever. But yeah, it's definitely good to see them squash that. The family apologized, and there's not going to be any more any memorabilia sold. So that's a good sign. We're excited for our guest tonight. We have Julian Payne, the celebrity master stylist who has been styling for tons of high-profile celebrities and athletes, and we're going to come back.
Get the inside scoop, right?
We're going to get the inside scoop as soon as we come back from break, but maybe he could shed some light on this whole Kobe situation because it's definitely not a good look for Kobe. But that's it for current news. We're going to take a quick break. Smitty Clutch, don't go nowhere, even if the Puerto Rican women's soccer team comes and tries to snatch you up.
I'm headed to the beach as soon as this is done.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in a second. Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back. Smitty Clutch, you there? Can you hear us?
I'm here, man.
Okay, cool. LockerRoomLiveTV.com. You can hit us up on Twitter. I am John Reed. He is at Smitty Clutch. And you can follow us there for the latest news, insights on everything sports and style related. And here for part two, second half of Locker Room Live, we have a very special guest. We have Julian Payne, celebrity master stylist here in LA. He's worked with some of the hottest stars and athletes, even in history, maybe I think we can even say.
He's the best.
Yeah. Like get your who's that DJ?
Khaled, I think.
Khaled, yes.
DJ Khaled.
Khaled. Shout out to Khaled. But yeah, we want to introduce Julian Payne. Welcome to the Locker Room, sir. Julian Payne.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to share some of my past and my present.
Yeah. Okay. So tell us a little bit about what is a master stylist. What makes you different from the dude at the barbershop?
I didn't give myself that name, first of all.
Okay.
That's not something I do. I think, a barbershop, you can't just go in there and be like, yeah, they call me Snoopy. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be barbershop given. So, I say, hey, I'm a master barber. And my client's like, nah, dude, you're a stylist. So I had to let that kind of marinate with me for a little bit. And, as long as other people continue to view me as that, then I'm cool. I can roll with it.
It's more than just cutting hair.
It's more than cutting hair. You got to, it takes... I done fixed a lot of people up. So, I've turned some cats into, put their swagger points back, back in their pocket. And,
swagger point. It looked like Smitty Clutch out in Puerto Rico could use your help right about now.
Yeah, fly me out. I'll be, send that ticket. I'll be out there.
Very cool. Very cool. All right.
I got my swagger right before Puerto Rico, buddy.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. Anyways, all right, so celebrity masters. So what do you actually do for them? You cut them?
Yeah, I give them a lot of advice just in terms of like, if they're trying to go for a new look, their image, they don't want to get. I have a lot of clients that are coming out of the age of, hip hopism and getting into more of a conservative role, but they're still hip. You know what I mean? So we're talking about all my clients range from 18 to probably 55, so these cats can relate to each other, of course, in terms of style, dress. We still rocking Jordans just like our sons and stuff are. So we want somebody who wants a little bit of edge, but not to look like these cats out here. That's just what they call ratchet right now. And I really, that's when I really put my hands on them and say, okay, this is what we can do. No, you don't need to cut your mustache off. No, you don't need to, rock a beard right now. What do you do? It's more of an image consulting, ordeal, really showing them how to look professional and stay hip at the same time.
But then you actually go in and get the clippers out and the razors out. And
absolutely. Yeah. And it's about personality as well.
And you have an interesting concept, too. It's not just a regular shop that you work out of.
No, I've done that, and I'm pretty much moved on. And as a kid, I loved the outdoors and loved the idea of just one day having an RV and traveling the country. And, I've done it, and I've get to enjoy my job at the same time. So I would say America's first fully functioning mobile barbershop.
So, yeah, we got to explain to the world what that is. So you have a truck
Absolutely.
that you can drive wherever in the world.
Yeah.
And it's a full-service plush barber studio.
It's a 2006 Airstream Classic, and it's pulled by, of course, a pretty heavy truck, and it's really cool inside. I did not know how cool it was until I actually started, using it and bringing it out on the street, and everybody was like taking pictures of it. So we have 4 chairs in there, a shampoo bowl, stereo system. You could throw a party in there if you want to. Really,
sounds like
nice couches.
Pimp My Ride or something.
Yeah, it's instead of that, it's just I'm pimping haircuts.
Right, there you go. All right, so let's talk about some of your clientele.
Yeah.
All right, so you don't just cut. You cut everybody. You're not exclusive.
No, I'm not. I'm a people person first.
Right.
I think everything evolves from there. It's no matter if the barbershop is on wheels or stationary, you're gonna get the same type of person that comes, that's in a barbershop. I know a lot of people. Yeah. Everyone comes to my chair. Every type of person, from celebrities to, mailmen, UPS, cops, you name it.
So who are some of the celebrities that are your clients, or have been your clients?
To be honest, I would like to say the kids. I give shout out to the kids. I like the kids that come through, but we're talking about on a more of a global scale celebrity. Let me see, Chris Tucker, Eddie Murphy, Music Soul Child. I really like a lot of the Def Jam. Like I was like the Def Jam barber. Irv Gotti, DMX. That's my dude.
DMX.
Yeah, DMX is my guy. I got some stories about him, but
I'm sure you do.
Redman, Method Man.
So does TMZ.
Yeah, absolutely. Who else? Nas, cut him from numerous years. Corey McGetty, sports athletes. Kobe Bryant. We got Tracy McGrady, Grant Hill.
Wow.
Derek Fisher.
So the list just
goes on.
on.
It just goes on and on. I can't even remember.
So who's your best client? Who was the one you're like, okay, this dude got great barbershop etiquette, good conversation, and you enjoy working with him?
The one guy I didn't mention that probably tops them all as the best is Sugar Ray Leonard.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like big bruh.
The champ.
Yeah, that's the champ. That's what you see on HBO, what you see, in the ring. He's inspiring, but he's a dad. He's a friend to a lot of people. And believe it or not, man, I get a chance to really be in that presence of not only a great human being, but a champion. You know what I'm saying? And that's rare. I do not take it, for granted.
Very
that
cool.
I'm around some great people.
Very cool. Very cool. So he's a good guy.
Great guy.
So you can get him to come down to the show.
I can ask.
Okay, cool.
I'm not scared to ask.
Okay, who's the best tipper?
Oh, man, Eddie Murphy.
Wow.
Hands down.
Okay, all right.
Eddie Murphy pretty much doubled my salary. Yeah.
Hopefully that was.
If you listen to Eddie, I'm still here.
Your salary wasn't zero, apparently.
Oh no, okay. My salary was not zero. It was a game changer. Servicing him for about 2 years.
Okay.
So
what was that like? I mean, was he just cracking jokes the whole time?
Yeah. When I had my salon, man, actually before I had my mobile barbershop, he used to stop by. It was crazy, man, and I think he can kind of sense the nervousness that I was nervous cutting his hair, but. I mean, I was like, dang, he human too. So let me just keep it moving. But he would crack jokes, man, and it was simply amazing. I mean, he's a gifted guy.
Yeah.
Just gifted. You know what I'm saying? From somebody who I've watched growing up. I mean, I would barely be able to cut his hair sometimes.
Wow.
So I've had some really, intimate, times just cutting his hair.
Absolutely.
It's great.
Absolutely. Okay, cool. Those are some good stories. What about the bad ones? Who are the people where you like, what? I wouldn't be mad if I never had to cut this guy again.
Let me see. I'm going to try to think of 3, but the one that tops my list is people that owe me money.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. And it's Ray J.
Okay.
Yeah, Ray J. And it's so crazy, too, because I know his sister, and she's like family, but I didn't let that come between us. You know what I'm saying?
So he just roll up and you say, "Hey, thanks for cutting my hair. I got to get you
I'm
back
a little
later."
short.
I'm a little short. Okay.
A little short. I'm like.
Oh wait, Smitty Clutch, what's up?
I just can't believe Ray J owes him money for a haircut.
Yeah, he owe me $60, man. I'm a grown man. You can't be. I'm like, that's a write-off. You know what I'm saying? But it's the principle. It's the principalities.
Smokey is the principalities.
Exactly.
Wow.
He could use 60 from Kim right now.
Oh man, look.
Kim, let me hold 60. I gotta pay my barber back.
Exactly.
It's not a good look.
This was before he was like, Ray Jeezy. You know what I mean? He was
right.
But he's, you got money, man. Pay me for my services.
Not a good look.
Yeah.
Not a good look.
But number 2 was my man Kobe.
Oh, okay. We was about to go into Kobe.
I know. I'll save that. I'll save.
Well, let's talk about it now.
Yeah,
let's talk about it now. What's your experience been like with Kobe?
You know what? I was introduced to Kobe by some good friends of mine. They knew I had just moved out to LA. I had a gift and a talent, and the smarts to be in the right circles to be able to service certain athletes and things like that. And it was my first experience was cool. I mean, Kobe can be very charismatic and very at a young age. You know, first of all, he's a smart guy, very calculated.
Yeah.
But so am I. And I always thought, you know, I was never in awe of him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that may have been an issue, but it was an interesting relationship we had because he respected me for my talent, but he didn't necessarily want to pay for my talent. You don't forget, like I charged him $120 for a haircut, you know. So it was.
That's not. I've heard of some pretty high profile stylists. That's not the most.
It's not the most, but I believe in fairness.
Sure.
You pay me for my time,
and you're not having him come down to the barbershop.
No, absolutely not. I'm not asking you for no favors. You know, you hook me up with a couple tickets every now and every year.
But you're hooking them up with kind of the carte blanche, red carpet treatment. Right?
Definitely.
So $120 is not really a lot of money.
It's a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
Basically. So I've been through him through a lot of his ups and downs.
And yeah, so. Yeah, you can just go ahead and run those. So tell us a little bit more about what you gleaned from your experience with Kobe. The public gets this impression of him that he's kind of mysterious. You know, he is charismatic, but there's something going on the inside that makes him do things like sue his mom or say things at press conferences that aren't necessarily great.
Yeah, this is the rundown of Kobe. Kobe is let's not forget, Joe Jellybean Bryant. He's an NBA kid. He grew up in Italy. He's from Philly. And his experience was a lot different from the rest of us. You know, so if you really peel back the layers, you know what I'm saying, you're going to see this kid that really never evolved, I would say, as his character never evolved.
So like socially, he's kind of immature.
Absolutely. Because he studied Mike. He was so... Michael Jordan, he studied him so much that I don't think he really attached, you know, his...
And developed himself.
Yeah, developed himself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's very, you know, TV. It's very, you know, just like, is the camera on? Okay, yeah, you know.
So when the camera's not on and he's...
When it's not on, he's a different person. Now, I will say this. If he was a lot more social, then he would... He sees that as people just trying to figure him out.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to let that happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's very competitive on all levels, even with me. And that just...
I'm sorry.
That just didn't work.
How does he compete with you?
Absolutely.
You're good at what you do. He's good at what he does.
Yeah, but I mean, it could be to the point of just business. Like, yo, how much is a haircut again?
So he's trying to compete with you on your rate.
I'm like, hold on a second. I come to you every week, twice a week. This $120.
Right.
So,
as I told you last time.
Right, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? There's no tip. Okay, cool. I'm good.
Wow.
But you know what? Wow. But I really stuck it out with him through a lot of the turmoil he was going through, self-inflicted pain that he put on himself, and a lot of that just came from, man, just not having a core group of sound friends around you.
Right.
Not even your teammate. And as in that one time I went over his house, we had a group of guys over there just chilling.
Just him and the fam.
Right. Maybe the fam. It was him, wifey at the time, but the family at the time when I was servicing Kobe, they lived down the hill. You know what I'm saying? And his family is awesome people, man. I mean, they open...
You talking about mom and dad?
Mom, dad, sisters. He comes from a very great family, as far as I know. You know, because I don't get the personal family thing, but I mean, his brother-in-law is great. Jared Washington, his kids are awesome. Great people, man. And I think that at some point, you know, Kobe realized his abilities to manipulate. You know what I'm saying, with finances, and he's done that. Number one, to his pops, and now where we at now.
And when you say to his pops, what do you mean?
Yeah, I mean to his dad. I mean, his dad like, hey, you know, can you hold me down for a second? Whatever that figure was, right. It was like, pops, we could press pause on that. This is my turn now to tell you how I feel about you.
Wow.
So
Wow.
and I may not have the full story, but I was pretty close in camp.
Wow, that's it definitely paints a picture
That's it.
for us.
That's locker room live right there.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, yeah, that's interesting. It's crazy to hear that, his parents, I mean, it's cool to hear that his parents are good people and he comes from good stock or whatever you want to call it. So it's all on Kobe, basically.
I wouldn't say 100% because, like I said, I think that we all have qualities of our parents and that shape our characters. I just think that once you're a grown man, you should be able to have some sort of guidance or some sort of balance in your life.
At least some good friends that tell you,
at
hey,
least
man,
some
you
good friends.
tripping.
Like, dude, come on, that's one thing you don't do is sue moms. You know what I'm saying? Just give her the bread, man. Like, but hey, it's what the papers say.
Yeah.
In entertainment, and then you have to just, protect yourself. Man.
Yeah.
So Julian,
Yeah. What's up?
So this current story with him and his mom, this didn't surprise you at all, then?
No, it didn't surprise me, man. I think that we were talking about. I think who is Kobe to the core. I just think that he wants his way, and he's gonna get it at all costs. You know what I'm saying? Screw you. This is me. I'm doing it. And I've experienced that firsthand. You know what I'm saying? We I went to China with Kobe on the Adidas tour, and it was great. It was a great experience. But and this was actually a write-up in ESPN that I didn't know about till one of my clients brought it to my attention. And it talked about, how he treated his security and things like this. And it was just not cool, sending him on McDonald's runs and things like that.
So he thinks he's Diddy, basically.
That's not your assistant. That's your security.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And, unfortunately, I only finished like half the tour. I was supposed to go to Germany, never made it to Germany. I went on a shopping trip with my mom. She went back when we was in Beijing, went back to the hotel to get some rest. I came back. I think I was late coming back, maybe like a half an hour, but I'm in Beijing, dude.
Right,
like,
no one knows.
No one knows. I'm like the only black dude in Beijing besides you, and catching a taxi, Right. So by the time I figured out I'd catch a taxi back, I was a little late. It's like, no problem, I just need to trim up. I cut his hair previously that previous day, so it wasn't that much. So, I think within about 12 hours, we were in another hotel, and in 24 hours, we were back in the States.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was it.
And that was it.
Was there a conversation that was had? You said,
afterwards? After the...
Hey, man, I'm going in a different direction as far as my
No.
style
I kept it real professional. I typed up a nice letter of apology and said that I will pay for the ticket of which he did not pay for. But that was, for me, that was just kind of a test of his character. And, he took the bite. You feel me? I did mention I was smart too. You know what I'm saying? So I was just testing his character, and I paid him every bit through haircuts, $800
Wow.
of haircuts, so, and I didn't get paid for the trip. I just took it like, y'all want to take my mom to Beijing.
Wow.
So,
wow.
But after that, I was done.
Yeah. Yeah. $800 worth of haircuts, man. That's a rent check for a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, all right, we run out of time, but tell us a little bit about what you're doing now and what's next for Julian Payne.
Well, what's next for me? I want to give a shout out to number one, Locker Room Live. This is a great show. I can't leave without giving myself a shameless plug.
Of course.
The original
Thank you,
mobile
man.
barbershop company. You guys can find me on Instagram.
Say it again. I think Smitty Clutch was hating on me.
I just said thank you, man.
The original mobile barbershop company in Los Angeles, California. If you just type in mobile barbershop, just Google it in California, I will pop up. It's all that hard work on the computer I've been doing. Instagram, hashtag the OG Mobco, THE OG MOBCO, spelling change right there. But yeah, right now, man, we're the only barbershop. This is the biggest accomplishment, only barbershop in America, probably in the world, that has been awarded a 5-year contract with the military, United States military. And on 28th, I have an opportunity to cut up to 5,000 troops this month, and hopefully we get our reality show coming out.
Wow.
And I got a new son. Big shout out to Roman My son Roman Payne and my lovely wife.
What's up, Roman? How old is Roman now?
Roman is 17 months, man.
17 months. He's probably at home watching this online.
Hey, knowing him, he probably looking on the iPad or something like that.
Right.
You know. But that's me, man. That's in a nutshell. I want to, take barber into a new level.
Yeah.
Business.
Yeah.
Business first, fellas.
We got a cool concept, man.
Thank you.
Nobody else is doing it like you're doing it. Obviously, you got, these superstars that are saying, hey, Julian's legit,
Yeah.
So everybody keep your eyes peeled. You might see a mobile barber shop coming to a town near you very soon. But we want to thank you for coming on.
Oh, thank you.
But we're not going to let you go. We're going to do our last segment of where they do that at. And if you guys remember from last week, this is where we kind of go in on some of the shenanigans that these athletes and stars do during the week. Hold on, we got audio. So, Smitty Clutch, you still there?
I'm here, man.
Okay. So, the first one that we were going to talk about, and maybe you have a little bit more insight as to what this was all about, is Andre Drummond, and he's playing basketball or something like that with Chris Brown.
Defense.
Oh.
Defense.
Bryant attacking. All the way.
Defense.
So apparently, you know what this looks like? This looks like Chris Brown challenged Andre Drummond to, a game of 21 or something. And I guess he thought he could jump with him, and he ends up getting embarrassed and getting dunked on like that. Now, Smitty Clutch, I don't know about you, but I don't ever want to get dunked on in my life, so I don't know why.
Not even for play.
Was Chris Brown serious? That's all I want to know. Like, what are you thinking?
Well, he seriously hit the ground.
Have been a spoof.
He seriously hit the floor pretty hard. So,
yeah. I don't know. Like, this is not dancing and singing. Like, you don't want to jump with that guy.
Yeah, especially with this new age of, Twitter and Instagram and YouTube, you can't just put yourself out there like that, at least not intentionally. So Chris Brown gets a big where they do that at. And secondly, on a darker note, we got your boy back in the news again, Adam Pac-Man Jones. And he's in the news not for football. As you see here, Pac-Man's outside a club. This is in Cincinnati. And he's at the top of the screen.
Yeah, we could do a whole show of where they do that on Pac-Man.
So he's at
the whole show.
He's at a club. Doesn't look like it's a very well-attended club, but he's outside and he's talking to a young lady. And all of a sudden, the young lady reaches out towards him. You can't really see what's going on, but then you see Pac-Man just fire on her, just punch her in the face. And then it looks like some sort of liquid is flying through the air. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but we do know from the report that he allegedly punched this woman and is awaiting some sort of charge or lawsuit. Is that the story you got, Smitty Clutch? Did we lose you?
That's what I got. He punched her like he was Mike Tyson and she was Riddick Bowe.
Well, how many times do we have to go through this with Adam Pac-Man Jones? I don't know if he's just trying to sabotage his career on purpose or what.
My mother taught me if you can't say anything nice, don't say it at all. I'm not going to say what I think about Pac-Man. He just say he's not the smartest guy out there.
Well, hey, let's hope he gets it together. Let's hope the punishment isn't so bad, and let's hope the young lady is all right. But Pac-Man also gets. Where do they do that at? Where do they do that at? So, anyways, as we wrap up, Smitty Clutch out in Puerto Rico. Thanks for holding us down. Thank you, Julian Payne, for holding us down. The celebrity master Julian. Stylist.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, it's been a great show. Are you back next week, or are you going to just move out to Puerto Rico?
I'll think about it, man. I don't know. Nah, I'll be back, man. I'll be back definitely. Back in the locker room. I just needed a break from it all, and I needed to do it in a nice paradise. So I know you're jealous, but again, like, we're partners. Maybe you'll join me one day. But then we wouldn't have a show. Right?
No, I'm out next week. You doing this by yourself next week. Are you coming back with a young Puerto Rican wife, bride? Did you go out there like Hakeem and coming to America looking for your queen?
No, man. I'm married to this show.
Wow.
Oh,
that's cute. Yes. That's oh boy.
That means I plead the fifth.
Hey, you know what? You get one of those too. We don't need the the mushies or whatever. All right, y'all. Thanks for rolling with us. LockerRoomLiveTV.com. this is a wrap. We got a great show. Thanks, Julian. Smitty Clutch.
No doubt.
I am John Reed. We'll see you guys next week.